Hi, today we're making ceramic pinch pot cupcakes. And what I did was I started with a ball. I rolled it between my hands until it formed a ball shape. And then I stuck my thumb right in the middle. I didn't stick it all the way down to the bottom, just enough so that I could still feel the bottom. I have a good thickness down here, but it's not so thin and so brittle that my thumb's going to go through when I start the pinching process. Next, I'm going to start pinching the sides. And I'm just going to work in one direction and pinch the sides out. Don't try to pinch them in, pinch them outward. And I'm just going to continue going around and working those sides until it's all a good consistency and a good thickness, so that it really doesn't take very long. You have a pinch pot in just a matter of seconds. And then you can start decorating it. It's not like the last project where we had to wait till the very end. You can go around and you can start carving in cupcake lines if you want to make it look really realistic. So I'm just going to drop these little pieces. And it's a little bit rough, but that's okay. I can smooth it out some more as I go along. When I find areas I don't like, I'll fix them. So I'm just going to go all the way around the circle till I meet myself at the other side. And now I have a basic start to the base of my cupcake. And I can change things as I go along, of course. But this is the basic idea. Of course, you want to get rid of all those rough edges. Smooth things out as you work. So that looks pretty good. The top is fairly smooth. I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit more. I can use either a tool or I can just use my finger. Either one is fine for this part. So I'm just going to smooth it out. And the reason why I'm smoothing it out is because I've got the base of the cupcake, but now I need to put some frosting on it. And I want to use a coil method to put the frosting on. So I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to set it aside. And I can always come back to it and work on it some more, but the important thing is I do have my cupcake base. So I'll just put that over here. Then I'm going to take some of my extra clay, and I'm going to do this next part using a coil method. So I'm just going to take a handful of clay and move the clay dust over, and I'm going to roll it out between my hands to form a coil. And when it starts to coil, then I'm going to move it down to my working surface. And it gets a little dry, so just add some water as you need to. So then you're just going to start working it out. Start in the center and gently move your hands outward. The important thing about making a coil is you want it all to stay about the same thickness. So right now I have a thick spot right in the middle and a very thin spot down here. And I want it to be all the same thickness as this. So I'm just going to keep working it. And if I need to break it in half, that's okay. I can always stick it back together. That's not a problem. So I'm going to keep working it into a nice long coil. Ooh, that's getting thin over there. It's also splitting, so I'm going to add some more water over here and just smooth that out. So I have another thin spot, so to fix that, I'm going to move my hands inward instead of out. Then I'll continue working outward. So I've got a nice long coil going on. This might even work for the entire top of the frosting. So let's see what happens. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start right here and wrap it around. Now these are going to be two separate pieces. Now the fun thing about coils is you can make them smaller as you go in. And I'm just going to gradually work that coil inward. Now I don't have quite enough, but you can see that it's starting to look very cupcake-like. And I want to get the basic form first before I start working on the mechanics of getting this thing to stick together. So I'm going to add a little more clay, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm just going to roll it out until it's about the same thickness. That looks pretty good. I'll just move that over. I don't think I'm going to need quite that much. This is still a little thick and that's a little bit thin, so I want it to be about the same. So I'm going to pull that off right there. I'm going to pinch these two pieces together. Smooth it out. I'm going to pinch these two together, smooth it out, and keep coiling. And I'm working inward, just like you do if you actually had frosting on there. Okay, so now I've got most of this. Still got a hole in the top, so I'm going to take some extra clay, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to pinch these two pieces together, smooth it out. And if it's not completely smooth, that's not going to be a big deal, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay. Now, to the top, I have all my frosting on there. I've got a ton of frosting. That is a lot of frosting. So now I think I'll put a cherry on top. I'll just roll up a piece of clay. Push this in a little bit. And I'm not doing a whole lot of scoring on here, but I'm going to do it on this part, and I'll show you why I'm not doing a whole lot of scoring. There's a little bit of slip, and I'll just stick that right on there and smooth it out. Now the reason we didn't do a whole lot of scoring on here to make this stay together is because we're going to go to the inside and we're going to smooth it out. And this is what's going to keep the cupcake from falling to pieces. I want to kind of keep the bottom at about the same width as the top of the cupcake. So I don't want to do too much there, but I just want to smooth out around the edges very gently and make a smooth surface in here. And once again, you can do that with your hands or you can use the rib tool. I prefer doing this with my fingers because the rib tool, it seems like it works sometimes and other times it just does not follow directions. So I'm just going around the base, going up to the top, and then I'm going to smooth all of this together. And it should look like a big, giant tornado when you're done with it. Still smoothing, not completely there yet. I want it to be really smooth on the inside. So I'm almost to a stopping point here. That looks good. I don't see any big noticeable gaps. I've got it smoothed out on the inside so it'll all hold together. And you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to stay because it will stay. It's all one piece. But you still have your really cool design on the outside. So if you kind of mess it up a little bit, it's okay. Just go back in with your tools, smooth it out, clean it up. And now you have a lid for your cupcake container that looks like frosting. And that's it.